Hey guys, what is up and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Krizia Ann and I am a West Coast University student and I have about 8 months left with nursing school. I saw that you guys really liked my last video, which was going on about the entire West Coast University ABSN schedule, so I wanted to make a Q&A using the comments that you left on my YouTube channel, as well as using some questions that people have DM'd me on Instagram, because I kind of just wanted to go more in depth and just talk about it a little bit more. So if you guys would like to see that, stick around. Don't forget to hit subscribe and hit that like button, and also turn on your notifications to see when I post my next video. Welcome back. If you guys hear something chewing like in the background, it's my puppy. He's like chewing on a hanger. That's like something that he loves to chew on. Okay, let's get back to my video. There's a lot of things that have been going on because I'm gonna be moving and I'm starting my own business, and then I'm dealing with nursing school. But I finished my peds clinical rotation, and I'm gonna be going into public health next term. So far I've learned that it's gonna be online, and they're doing a couple changes, for the future that, well, we don't even know yet. But yeah, that's what's been going on. But let's get into the questions. I'm not gonna say your guys' name because I didn't ask for permission to like shout you guys out, so I won't do that. Okay, the very first question I wanted to go over is the most important one. What's the policy when you fail a core class? Do you get another chance to retake? So what happens if you fail nursing? Not nursing. What happens if you fail your nursing core class? Okay, this is something that you guys have to understand. So, in order to not be kicked out from the school, the maximum amount of classes that you can fail is 2. And I go to the Orange County campus, and from what I've heard, which is I don't know 100%, but I'm 95% sure that if you fail your fundamentals, which is your first term, your first core class, or you fail med-surg, it doesn't count as a fail. I don't know why, but they changed it, and I think it was because there was a high percentage of students that fail those first 2 classes because of such a different change in the studying habits and how you take your test, that they decided that if you fail those first 2 classes, it doesn't count as a fail, but everything after that does count as a fail. So, if you do end up failing a class, which is theory, which is your lecture class, you do retake that class. But if you're taking that class and you're also taking clinicals and you pass your clinicals, you only have to take that class. You don't have to retake your clinicals. So your clinicals and your lecture are 2 separate classes. You have to pass one of them or both of them. And if you don't pass your clinicals, I've never heard anyone not pass their clinicals and have to retake both. So if you don't pass your clinicals, you still have to show up to your theory. And you could still pass the class. That's what I think. I'm not 100% sure, but for sure, if you don't pass your theory, but you pass your clinicals, you just retake the class. And in order to pass the class, this is very important that you guys have to understand. You have to get a minimum of 76%. You get 2 different scores for every single class you take. So you have a critical grade score, and then you have a overall grade score. You have to get a minimum of 76% in your critical grade score. So your critical grade score is basically it's basically your test quizzes average. So you take 6 quizzes for every single nurse term core, and then you take a proctored test, and then you take a final. So that's basically your critical grade. So if you're not averaging 76% on your quizzes, you're most likely not going to pass the class. So you have to get a 75.5% to get a 76% to round it up. And every single point in your class, we go by a point system. So every single point is very, very, very important, because those points are what makes your overall score go from an A to a B, or from a passing grade to a non-passing grade, if that makes sense. critical grade, that's what matters the most. So you have to get a 76% for your critical grade in order to pass the class. So if your overall grade was a 78%, but your critical was a 74%, you don't pass the class. So you have to have a 76% for your critical grade in order to pass the class, if that makes sense. So if you do end up failing out of West Coast, you do have the option to appeal, like basically to write to the dean and meet with the dean and talk about what happened, and then they kind of take it into consideration to talk about maybe if you had a family member pass, you had a parent pass, and you just couldn't focus in school, or something really big happened, you can appeal it. But if you aren't able to appeal it, the only way to be able to get back into nursing school or to be a nurse is to basically go through their LVN program and become an LVN first, and then enter the bridge program that goes from LVN to BSN. And that's a route that some people take because sometimes people feel very discouraged that nursing isn't for them because they failed. But if nursing is something that you want to do, there are still options. Like once you fail out of nursing school, there's still an option to be a nurse. It's just going to take you a little bit longer. So don't feel discouraged because of that. So that is what happens if you fail a class. But also don't be afraid to fail a class, because some people who have failed a class, it definitely changed them. Like I've heard stories where students who failed a class came back and they were just like doing so much more amazing because it was kind of a wake-up call for them. And also expect to be held back a term and to pay an extra, but I don't really think those are factors that you have to be like so worried about failing. Just focus on it and you'll do fine. Okay, let's go over the next question. Okay, someone asked, are we allowed to take a break, maybe for like one term, and then continue where we left off? Yes, you can take a break. From someone who's had experienced me, I took a non-clinical term because I was given the opportunity to work with a very big company, Gymshark, that interfered with my school schedule. And so I decided to take a non-clinical term. So if you do decide to take a term off or to take a non-clinical term off, you have to decide this on the week 10 of your finals. Like after you finish school, you have to, or finish that one class that you have to figure out, is this something I want to take a term off? Like I have to figure this out now, because the earlier you do it, the higher chance you will be able to get resequenced back the following term. So what do I mean by non-clinical term? So by a non-clinical term, I mean that you'll be taking classes, but you won't be taking clinicals. So when I took it, I took a break before Med-Surg 2. And so I was supposed to go to a really good hospital that I was happy with that I got. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna just take a break because it's an amazing opportunity. So whatever. So I took a non-clinical term. I emailed my advisor. He's like, hey, you need to go into school and we can talk about this in person. I talked to him about it, and then that's what happened. And they basically like resequenced everything. They gave me a brand new schedule. And so instead of taking Med-Surg 1, I ended up taking the online class, which was nutrition. Actually, nutrition. Yeah, I was taking nutrition and philosophy, like ethics 341 or something. And so when I took that non-clinical term, it took those online classes away from those terms. So I was able to focus just on those theory classes, like my core classes, like my I ended up taking just, what class did I take alone? So I ended up taking Med-Surg 2 on its own, just clinicals and the theory. I didn't have to take an online class. And right now in peds, since I already took the med ethics class, I'm only taking my peds theory and my clinicals. If I didn't, I would have been taking peds theory, peds clinicals, and an online course. But no, I'm just focusing on just my main core classes. So I did take a term off. And some people just completely take an entire term off, meaning they don't take any classes. That one, I feel like it's hard for you to get resequence, or you can withdraw from a class, but you have to withdraw from a certain week. But the later you withdraw or decide to not go, like to take a term off, you may not get resequenced the next term, if that makes sense. It just depends on how many people. Why did it stop? Sorry guys, it like just stopped recording for some reason. Okay, so I've had classmates who have took a term off and they had to wait maybe 2 terms to get resequenced back in, because it just depends on how many people have failed the previous term and how many openings they have for clinical for how many open spots they have for clinical or that hospital, because at the most you can have like 8 people in the clinical. And yeah, some people had to wait a couple terms for that, but I'm assuming you're asking because nursing school is very, 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 very fast paced, and it is very hard, mentally taxing, and everything that you can think of. You just expect it. Like, nursing school is going to be hard. If you don't put in the work and the effort into it, you won't pass a class, and that's straight up facts. You know, when you start nursing school, the people that you go to orientation with, you're most likely like maybe 30% are the same people you're going to be in the same cohort with. Because in the beginning, I was like, I'm not going to be the person who fails. I'm not going to be the person who like stays back a term or whatever. And here I am. And there's no issue with that, you know, waiting a little bit longer, because nursing school is just fast. You know, life goes on, it's going to go on, and you're either going to finish nursing school or you're not. And it doesn't matter how long it's going to take for you to finish it. You know, I was supposed to graduate or be done this November, but since I took a term off, I'm going to be done next January. And I've never regretted that decision. It's actually helped me a little bit more because I had to take less classes sometimes. But I don't know how strict they are going to be about it now. But if you do want to take a clinical term off, like, definitely go talk to your advisor, because you do have that. And our school provides a lot of different resources. We have Aetna. I think we're partnered with Aetna to speak with, you know, health professionals. If you're suffering from stress or anything, like, you can talk to your advisors, you can cry to them and talk to them and like tell them what's going on, because nursing school is hard. And you know, it got to like, I suffer from mental health, like I suffer from really bad anxiety and stress and depression, and I actually ended up taking antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications because of nursing school, because I got to a point where I couldn't handle like my stress and everything, that I'm like, I can't, like, I'll probably make another video about this, but I can't have like my anxiety stop me from doing what I need to do. And so that's when I decided to take medication, and I've seen so much helpful. I've seen so much improvement because of it, and it has helped me a lot, like getting me through nursing school. But that's a completely different topic. I'm not going to go into that now because it's going to be so much information. But if that is something you guys want me to talk about, yeah, comment below. Let me know, you know, the struggles and the stress that I've gone through with nursing school. Yes, Louis. Sorry, I threw his little chewing thing on the floor. Okay, next question. What is the employment rate after graduation? I don't know the exact employment rate, but I've never really, I've had friends who graduated from West Coast, and I've never had them be like, I have so much trouble finding a job. I feel like the thing that a lot of people go through is finding a job in a hospital that they want, or like getting into a preceptor program, you know, a grad program, new grad program. And a lot of people don't really get their option of where they want to work. And I feel like that's a thing that a lot of people have trouble with, because that part in like getting into a new grad program is very, very competitive. But in terms of finding a job, there is no issue with finding a job. You know, it's just a matter of finding a job where you want to work at is what I feel like a lot of people have issues with. Because when you graduate West Coast, you have a fucking big ass debt to pay, and that's what you're worried about. That's what I'm worried about. Like, I still have debt to pay for from my first time in college, and when I graduate, I'm gonna have like $130,000 in debt. So yeah, I'm just gonna be prepared for that. But yeah, I don't know what the employment rate is, but our school has a really good resource, which is our career services. And we also have actual hospitals that come into our school for career week or career day, where you can go. They have their own table set up, and they're actual people from the hospitals, like Kaiser, the American Red Cross, like just a lot of different facilities that come and hospitals that come that you can get information from. They have volunteer opportunities as well that you can reach out to them for, which is probably the reason why I got a job during nursing school at a hospital, so I can get my foot in the door. And when I graduate, it'll hopefully be easier for me to get a job, and hopefully they're able to hire me as a nurse when I graduate. But we'll see. So I'm pretty sure like nursing is a big thing, especially right now that, I mean, some places have stopped looking for nurses, but during this time, you'll be fine. Like, don't worry. there's always a job for nurses anywhere, and there's so many different types of nursing opportunities that you can get. Okay. How many times per week do you meet on campus the first term of nursing core? The first term of nursing core, you're going to be taking your fundamentals theory class, your intro to professional, and then your clinicals and skills. So your clinical and skills is combined into one. So for the first 4 weeks, you're going to be meeting on campus in the skills lab, which is 12 hours. So that's one whole entire day. So your first 4 weeks, you're going to be learning skills. Like, your professor's going to be going everything that you have to know, like hand washing, how to put an NG tube, how to fix beds, like how to feed a patient, how to do certain things. So you do that the first 4 weeks, and then the next 4 weeks for your first term, you're going to go into a skilled nursing facility, which is where you practice what you learn. And that's over 8 weeks. And then, so that's one day. And then you have your theory, which is most likely 5 hours, which you can take on one day. And then you have your intro to professional nursing, which I think is 3 hours or 5 hours. I forgot. But that's also another extra day. So it's up to you. I took them all on the same day, I think. I combined them. I don't remember. But you can take intro to professional. Oh, I keep shutting down. Okay, I totally forgot what the last question was, but okay. One thing is, how can you do good in your classes? What is something that you can do? How to pass your classes, like how to do well. Okay, so since your critical grade is based off of your quizzes, you have to do really good on your quizzes. And how to practice for that is to go online and look for NCLEX styled questions, okay? You have to practice how to answer these questions, because in reality, these questions are basically English questions. If you read the question carefully, you can basically figure out what the question is exactly asking, and then you could cross out a couple of the answers. And from there, that is how you get the right answer. But in order to do that, you need to practice for it. There's something. The success book basically has practice NCLEX questions for every single body system, because every single week you get tested on different body systems. And since you basically have a quiz every single week that you have to study for, which is what I like, because it is very helpful. Like, you don't have to study so many chapters all at once. You just focus on like one body system and you get tested on that, which is very helpful. And I think my camera is about to die on me again because it is overheating. But yes, go out and get the success book. Like, they have the fundamental success book, they have the med-surg success book, they have the ped success book. Go out and get those books, because those books are very, very helpful. In addition to that, on your ATI modules, you can also use the practice questions they have there. And like, make sure you read the rationale, because the rationale and the reason for that answer is usually the same when you take the quizzes. So definitely go off of that, and study everything first. Go over everything, all of your lecture stuff, all of the readings, and then use those practice questions as a practice test to see how well you actually know your information. So that is what I would do, and that is always how I've studied, doing a lot of practice questions. So if you guys have more questions that I didn't go over, go ahead and comment down below. Let me know. If you guys don't want to comment down below and you guys want to ask me, let me just focus. If you guys want to ask me personally, go ahead and DM me on my Instagram, CrazyAnn__. I'm sorry I have to end this video quick because my camera has been weird. It's a brand new camera. So yeah, I hope you guys found this really helpful, and I hope you guys been finding my videos helpful. So if you guys have any more questions, again, I do have resources. If you DM me, I can send you those resources. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I know it's been pretty hectic. Like, this video has kind of been hectic, but I hope it's been helpful. I hope everything's been helpful. So just go ahead and reach out to me if there's something that you want to ask from me personally. But yes, again, thank you guys for watching. Again, thank you. So I'll go ahead and make another video as soon as I can and figure out exactly what I want to make. But I'm also going to be moving, so it might be a little hectic this week. So yes, thank you guys. Thank you. Again, how many times do I have to say thank you? But thank you guys for watching me and subscribing to me. And again, just reach out to me if you need any help, because I will definitely help you out.